Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Ask Me Thursdays. And today's episode is going to be on how to work with difficult physicians, because undoubtedly we've worked with these difficult physicians. In fact, I would bet you could probably have a vision of their face in your mind as I tell you this, because we've worked with these types of physicians in the past. And it's so important to learn how to work with difficult physicians and difficult providers so we can have a long and thriving and good career in medicine, because our well-being depends on learning how to work with people and how to interact with people effectively so it doesn't affect our well-being, because I don't want this to contribute to your burnout. So how do we do it? Well, first thing I do is I have to look at myself first. I have to ask myself, am I part of the problem? I have to look at my behavior first. And it's one of the most important things that many of us don't even do, but that's the most important step, is look at your behavior first. You may not know that you're even doing it. You may not notice that the way you ask your question, or the inflection in your voice, or the tone in your voice may be putting up walls for that other physician. So look at yourself first. Look at yourself first. Second thing I do, and I always try to do this as many times as I can, is I have to mentally prepare myself for this interaction. So we all work with these physicians that we know we're going to have a difficult interaction with. And so I just have to kind of wait 10, 15 seconds, take some deep breaths in before I even place that phone call, before I place that consult. I take some 5 to 10 deep cleansing breaths and I prepare myself for that interaction. If you start working within a hospital system, you're going to know how some physicians prefer their interactions. Some like short, brief reports, some like longer reports and more detailed reports. Learn to work with the physicians that you're working with. That's important. Third thing is I remain calm. That's so important. As I start noticing that the interaction is starting to get a little bit more heated and voices start to come up, it's a no-win situation for everyone. You, that physician, and ultimately the patient and the team that you're advocating for. So I always make a point to try to remain calm. Fourthly, I don't take it personally. I don't take it personally, and that's very, very important, because once I start, taking it very, very personally, it starts affecting my well-being. It starts contributing to my burnout. I don't want you to be in that position at all. Don't take it personally. Don't take their behavior personally. And finally, learn to influence behavior. What does that mean? Well, you try to separate the behavior from the person, and you try to use inclusive language, such as, I see we are having trouble communicating about this, or let us take a look at this from a different perspective. I think that's so important, because once you start pointing fingers, instinctively a wall will come up, and that's as I said before, it's a no-win situation for everyone involved. But if you approach this as an inclusive type of interaction, you're going to get more buy-in and more interaction, more pleasant interactions with physicians as a whole, and as with people as a whole too. So you may be asking yourself, well, Harry, why does this even matter? Why do I have to change my behavior for somebody else's bad behavior? Well, quite simply, it's your well-being. It's your blood pressure. It's your heart attack. So I want you to remember that sometimes we don't want to change our own behavior for somebody else's bad behavior, but remember, this is your well-being. And I don't ever want that somebody else's behavior to be a component of your burnout. That's ridiculous. So that is why it's important to start working well with others and learn to use the tips that I've given you to begin that journey. So I hope you've enjoyed Ask Me Thursdays. And if you have a question for me, there will be a link in the post that accompanies this video, and just send me a question. I'm happy to answer it. So until next time, I wish you the best. Be good to yourself and each other. We'll talk again soon.